You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Sorry, that sounds strained. Another week. Glad you're here. Glad you're back. What an awesome episode last week. Really went all over the place, and the numbers were great, and the listeners and the views on YouTube. And I want to say thank you to everybody who gave it a shot and listened. You know, when we get these certain guests that have such a huge following, well, a lot of these people aren't following me. They're not listening to Inside of You, but when they're on here, people listen to it, and if they like it, and you say, hey, listen to maybe another one, give us another shot. So you know, that's kind of what you do. But it was great. Grant Gustin was great. And, you know, I love all the interviews. And I did a little interview with my grandma. She's on FaceTime. And I did it like a week ago, and I recorded it, but I didn't put it on that other episode. So I want to share that with you now. Okay, Blanco, how are you? How are you holding up?
Just like everyone else, crappy.
Yeah, you're crappy. Are you doing anything to amuse yourself?
What can I do?
Well, you could talk to your grandson constantly.
I'm telling you how many times I called you 3 times last night.
All right, hang on. Well, don't make me sound like a dick. I've been, we talk almost every day, do we not?
Yes, we do.
We do.
But I wanted to ask you if you'd go on FaceTime today with the family.
Yeah, of course I will. I wish I can come there and hug you.
Oh, and I love that.
We could play some, what is it called? Rummy Cube?
Rummy Cube, yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. We could play canasta. You could teach me how to play canasta. That's a hard game to learn, though, isn't it?
No, you have to play more than 2 people, though.
How old do you think the oldest item in your freezer is?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
Are we talking like 20th century?
No.
Not that bad. You're cooking for yourself. You're doing,
18th century.
18th century. Well, I love you. I love singing with you. We have to do our concerts. Remember, we had a good concert. I played an hour for you. We sang together.
Yeah, I like that very much.
And I know
you cheer me up all the time.
Well, you make me very happy. You do. You really put a smile on my face every day. Just, you know, hearing your voice and your support. You've always been amazingly supportive. I talk about you on the podcast all the time. You're very unconditional love. That's what it is, isn't it?
For me, it is definitely unconditional.
Yeah.
I'd do anything for you that I could.
All right. I love you dearly.
Love you.
All right. Give me you and Grandpa's song. You and her, give me the first verse.
Be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. I'll see you in the morning sun, and when the night is through, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Oh, that was good. Brings a tear to my eye. I love you. Thank you.
Okay, baby. Bye-bye.
Bye. Grandma Blanche from Florida. I love this woman so much. You have no idea. Oh, I love her. Just a few things. I hope you're dealing with all this stuff. And I'll tell you what, I decided to do, get ready for it, a mental health week. I've been wanting to do this, and, well, we're doing it. I got 2 amazing ladies who, you know, work with me, let's just say. This wonderful woman, Sandy Daigneault, and Ellen Wassel, life coach. Sandy's a DBT, a behavioral therapist, and they both do amazing things. But I met them when I was at Privé Suisse, this wonderful place in Connecticut, and we'll get into that on Mental Health Week. But I think it's really important, and I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, you know, how do I help people? It's free therapy, you know, for an hour. So you want to tune into that. And thank you for supporting the podcast. Make sure you subscribe. The links are right here. See, look at them. There's that. And the handles. Oh, look at that. See, Bryce does that. That's so cool. I really like that. You think I'm looking at it. I'm pretending because I know he's going to put it in there. But Inside of You, at Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Please subscribe on YouTube and Spotify or wherever you listen to it, on both, and listen and watch and share and all that stuff. Great episode today. A returning guest, but a man, a Marvel man. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know him as Drax. Tons of movies. One of the biggest wrestlers in the world. Heart of gold. is doing a lot of big movies. We talk about so much great stuff today. He's so insightful and so honest and like this lovable, shy, big hunk of love, man. He's just a... Did I just say big hunk of love? Sorry, Dave. You're probably going to watch this and kick my ass for that. But I love you. He also sent me this thing from my neck. He's just so thoughtful. He's just the iron neck. And I've been working with that, and it's helping me a lot. So why don't we just get right into it? And also, Zach Levi, Inside of You live podcast. As of now, we're still a go. That's July 2nd at the North Door in Austin, live podcast, 2 shows. Get your tickets. We'll see what happens. But as of now, that show is a go. But, you know, things are changing so quickly here. Take a deep breath. Let's relax and let's get inside Dave Bautista. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Piece of shit. Let me try this again. Come on now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I turned off the sound somehow.
Yeah. You aren't good with this shit, are you? You know, with all this stuff happening, it's hard not to talk about it because I'm sure people are like, oh, but I think people are interested in like going, hey, what are the stars doing? What are the, what are people doing? And they're interested in like going, seeing how people get through it. Do you deal with like, you get anxiety? Is this making you anxious?
You know, it's weird. And this is, it's been a little rough for me to talk about because I don't want people to have the perception that's like a fake anxiety. It's a fake concern because I'm really like fortunate right now. I feel like I've kind of, it's almost like I prepped for this for years and not intentionally, but I'm very fortunate right now. I'm not suffering personally from this, but I am still suffering from like horrible anxiety. And it's just, you know, some days I just wake up and I don't want to get out of bed. I don't even want to wake up. It's just depressing as hell. And I think like to myself, like I'm feeling like this and I'm fortunate. Like how are people who are like suffering, who are losing everything they have and their, you know, families are going hungry and they don't even have, you know, they can't put food on the table. They don't have access to food or they just don't have, they've run out of money.
Yeah.
Like, how are they dealing with this? So it's like, it's a tough thing for me to talk about openly because I don't feel like I have the right to, to complain or be, but I am, it's killing me. It hurts. Like personally, it hurts. And I'm watching people, like I sent my mom out. I know this sounds like a petty thing, but it broke my heart. I had to send my mom out toilet paper. My mom didn't have toilet paper. She's been going to the store and waiting in line in San Francisco to get toilet paper. And they won't tell her before she goes in. She has to wait in line to go in. And they won't tell her if they have toilet paper in stock or not. They will just have her wait in line. And she goes in and she doesn't have it. So for weeks or whatever, she's been without toilet paper. So I had to ship her out toilet. And it breaks my heart that I have to send my mom toilet paper. I know that seems like a kind of a petty thing.
No, dude, that's not petty at all. It's like I got a 91-year-old grandmother in Fort Lauderdale. And, you know, she lost my grandfather in November on Thanksgiving. And his birthday was just April 8th. He would have been 94. And, you know, first of all, I'm grateful that he lived that long. And he was my best friend. And, you know, they were together for 70, well, shit, how long? I mean, I think 75, 76 years they were together. So she doesn't know what it's like to not be with somebody. And now she's alone. So no one can go over there. I think my uncle recently started going over there. It wasn't safe. He was like, I don't want to take chances. So he kind of sits like 20 feet away, doesn't like, you know.
Right.
And she's all alone in this little, you know, she's got a nice little place. It's fine. But she just goes, Mikey, I'm so bored. She's got that, you know, Jewish New York accent. She goes, I just want to play Rummy Cube with somebody. It's like this game we play. And she misses the canasta games. And so she's alone. And she's like, I'm like, can I order you some food? Can I do something? She goes, I've got so much food in the freezer. I go, that food is from the fucking 70s. Nobody wants that food. It's fine. If you freeze it, it's fine. Yep. It definitely puts things in perspective. When you're thinking about yourself, you wake up. Look, what you're going through is important. It's not, look, I care. I'm like, you know, people who are homeless. Can you imagine things getting worse for homeless people?
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's worse for everybody out there. So you definitely have to put things into perspective, but it doesn't mean that, you know, you don't have anxiety. You don't, you know, it's okay for, I mean, look, I think we're all freaking out a little bit here.
Yeah. It just sucks, man. I mean, it just sucks all the way around, and just not, you know, I think the unknown too is scary, like not knowing when things will normalize, if they're going to normalize, how bad of shape we're going to be in after this, you know, and it, you know, to be honest with you, it breaks my heart that this will, for a lot of people, this will make people even more distant. Like I've never been the most social guy, but there's certain social things that I really cherish. Like, and I said something, I put a little post on my Instagram last week, but like, I love going to the movie theaters. It's like one of my favorite things in the world to do. And I don't want to ever give that up. And I hate to think that people are not going to want to do those things anymore. And then theaters are going to go out of business. I mean, that's like things like that. And even like baseball games. I look forward to being able to make a baseball game. And
Nationals.
Yeah. And that's my team, man. It just, it's a social thing that I enjoy doing, like with my friends and family. And I hate to think that this will change like our way of life, and people won't want to socialize with each other anymore.
I think they will. I think they will, Dave.
I hope so. I really hope so, man, because and that's coming from a guy who's really socially uncomfortable. But I don't want people to be further apart. I feel like our country is so ripped apart already.
Yeah.
I don't want it to get worse, man. And there's always those simple things that bring us together, no matter where we're at with politics or whatever. But there's simple things that bring us together as a community. And there's things like sporting events,
movies, concerts. You're absolutely right. So that's, it's funny because the whole Zoom thing, it's tomorrow night. I'm doing a bingo night for my friends. So it's like 40 people. Everybody Venmos me $10. The pot's like $400. We give some to charity, Ronald McDonald House or foodonfoot.org. Got to throw those names out there. But, and it's like sitting there watching your friends of the Brady Bunch. I got this fucking big bingo machine. I bought this big roller. It was like $400. People are like, how old are you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm So and it's funny because, I'll sit there and I'll roll the balls. That didn't sound right. And I'll be like, B3. And then my friend Tom will go, B3. Like he's my backup, my side man, my sidekick. And people have a blast. And just like it takes you away for an hour. And, we have some laughs. But it's weird. It's like, I just want to like give my friend Tom a hug. I'd love to give you a hug. You know me. I love to come over and give old Bautista a hug, an uncomfortable hug.
I'm a hugger. I'm a man of a few words and many hugs.
Many hugs. Yeah, dude. I read something on your Instagram. It was really cool. It wasn't long ago. It was like maybe a week ago. It says, thinking of better days past and better days to come, the simple things like a ball game, like you just said, with friends, fam, community. I can proudly say I've never taken life for granted. Grateful for every minute, every experience, every opportunity. Life's too damn precious, and I refuse to waste it or take it for granted. Wishing everyone good health and better days to come, separately in this together, which I thought was really cool. And man, it's pretty profound when you say something like you've never taken life for granted.
Yeah. I think it's just, I think it's because of where I come from. I think from seeing death at an early age, like up close and personal. And I think it's always me just trying to make the most out of my life, kind of defy the odds. Like, I should have been a statistic. And I didn't realize that I was not going to be a statistic. I didn't make the conscious effort to say that I'm not going to be a statistic till I was almost 30. I was almost 30 because I was in my box. I was, on my block. I didn't step foot out of my block. I was just a kid in DC. I was working the streets of DC. And it was about when I was 30 when I said, I can't do this. I got to make something out of my life. And so, I stand by that. I love life, man. And I just don't take it for granted. I don't take anything. I don't take the things that I've been fortunate to have or accomplish or opportunities. I just don't take them for granted. I'm an appreciative guy.
Yeah, anybody who knows you will say that. Those people, those folks that have faced such adversity, when you stare death in the face, and like, 3 people died on your front lawn or something like that. You're a bouncer. You've seen as dark as it can get in a lot of ways, right? So, there had to be a moment where you're like, anything better than this is awesome. Anything, every moment that came to you after those terrible moments were like, oh, wow, I didn't get in a fight today. Oh, I didn't see someone die today. But look, I know a lot of things, I look at all the shit you're doing too, and that's got to be hard. It's like, you know, you got all these projects and I see in pre-production and all the things and you don't like stopping. You want to keep moving, right?
You know, I started everything later in life, and I always feel like I'm under the time crunch. You know, I'm under the crunch as far as like, you know, getting older. I'm not getting any younger. And so I constantly need to keep working and make things happen because I know, because I'm a realist, and I realize that someday, you know, the phone's not going to be ringing. You know, people are not going to be calling me to do, you know, jobs. And yeah, so I just don't, you know, I don't take it for granted. And I want to take advantage of opportunities. Like, I love the word opportunity. Opportunity is like one of my favorite words. And if I'm given an opportunity, man, I'll just run it down. And I just, so that, yeah, certain things like this is, I mean, that's what I mean when I say that I'm afraid of the unknown, because I don't know that when this is all going to go. But, you know, I want to know when I'm going back to work. You know, I'm losing opportunities that I had, like my film My Spy that should have been released was not, you know, obviously not able to be released in theaters. And I was really proud of it because it's a fun film, it's a family film. It's the first film I developed. So, but they sold it to Amazon, so eventually it will be released. But I wanted it to have a fighting chance in the theaters because I was pretty proud of it. I am proud of it, but. You know,
yeah, I knew you were upset with it, and as you should be. It was just the worst timing ever. It was supposed to be like released on like the 11th of March or something.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? I mean, what can
That's
you do?
the thing. You kind of go, okay, this is the situation. You know what's funny is like, it sounds stupid, man, but I learned this and it does work. I thought it would never work, but you know, I remember I fired off some job years ago, and I remember just things along the way. It's like, oh, this didn't happen, or oh, this, and I just go. I start to think immediately, what are you grateful for? Stop. What are you grateful for? Right. Don't let this. What are you grateful for? What do you got going? All right, you got two awesome dogs. All right, you got this. You got a cool grandmother's 91. Okay, you got and you just start, and that somehow psychologically, the brain, it works. If you just keep telling yourself positive things, do you do that? Or are you kind of like, fuck? You want to throw somebody out of the...
I get upset like everybody else. I mean, I'm human. And when something doesn't happen the way I envision it in my head, I get upset. But I am that guy, which is, goes back to earlier when I say that I never want to have for people to have the perception of me as bitching or moaning.
No, it doesn't come off. Trust me. Hey, dude, Maggie and Ollie, would you say they're kind of like a godsend for this shit going on? They're your dogs. Tell us about your dogs, because you saved these guys, right?
Yeah. Well, what I did was I kept them together because they're litter mates. And so when they were first brought to the shelter, they immediately split them up, and they were trying to adopt them out. And they'd never been apart in their life. So a local organization found out about it, and they knew that I had room and experience with pit bulls. So they asked me if I'd adopt both of them to keep them together. And so that's what I did. I think eventually, because they're just such great dogs, somebody probably would have adopted them. They just probably would have adopted them separately.
Right.
Because, most people, it's hard for them to take one, but let alone two big, dogs. But they're a godsend. I swear to God, I'm relating them to, so this is how I've been hearing from a lot of people that now they're home with their kids all day and they're just going nuts. And that's how I am with the dogs. Like they're driving me nuts. So most of the time it's all great and I love them, but they're so hyper and I feel like the more I'm around, the needier they are.
Yeah.
So they just start getting very demanding over my attention, over space. It's just, I feel like the more I'm around them, the more needy they become. And now they're whining and they want to, if I walk outside, they think we're going for a ride and they're just lined up at the car, scratching at the car.
They're just, and they know how to make you feel guilty too. They look at you like, I just want to,
so manipulative.
I'm like, I just took you for a fucking walk like an hour ago. We went for like an hour walk. What do you want? I don't know. It's just like I'm sitting on this couch and you're fucking zooming and shit, man. And you're like, all right, let's go out, let's play, and it's never enough, and it's never enough food. Yeah. But you love
our daily rituals. So I have a separate building that's my office and gym, and it's a couple miles from me. So that's our usually daily ritual. We jump in the car and we go up there, just get them out of the house, get me out. That's where
they go in the gym. They're running around while you're working out.
Yeah, they're running around. They have access to the gym.
Do they work out?
They used to be fine. They enjoyed the ride, heads out the window. But now they just sit in the back seat and whine until we get there. It's like, it's just, like they can't get there fast enough. I need to teleport them there. So like
I can just see. Hey, just knock it off. Calm down.
I'm going to stop this car. I'm going to turn this car around.
Well, that's probably a good thing because you have 3 kids, right? And they're all grown up.
Yeah. And so my 12-year-old is, we've been,
she's not completely grown up.
And he's, he's up in Northern Virginia. He's outside of DC. And he's now, he's a gamer. So now I'm just, man, this is his excuse to sit on, in his little gamer chair all day.
Do you play with him? Do you play games?
I don't play games. I'm just not good. I don't have the patience. I don't have the focus. And I also, if I do find a game that I like, I become addicted very fast. And like hours will fly by. I will not eat. I will sit on a game and just play.
Kids have died playing. Have you heard those things? Where people are on that thing so long. Like they have these marathons where they're on 24 hours a day. I've heard these weird stories where they just aren't nourished and they just play games and they're like drinking like Red Bulls and they die.
Yeah, I believe it. It's an addiction.
It is,
if you find that right game that just calls to you, it's so addictive.
Red Dead Redemption, because it's just slow enough where I could sort of because I need slow. These fast games where it's like, you're using 30 buttons, forget it. You remember when we just used Frogger, man? Just cross the fucking jump on the alligator.
4 directions.
That's it. 4 directions. You don't even need a button. Donkey Kong, left, up, right. Easy.
Yeah.
That's what I miss, man. It just got too complicated. Life got too complicated. Do you think if I did a national no phones day, people would do it since there's no way, would they?
Oh God, no. No. And I am really bad at this. So if I lose my phone or forget my phone somewhere, I get pure like anxiety attacks. Like I'm losing it.
Well, realize that's not good.
I hate to admit it. I hate to say it out loud, but I feel instantly disconnected. I feel like I'm missing something. I can't touch. I did lose my phone. I was on my bike and I was rushing we were doing a screening of My Spy. And I was on the highway and I was flying on my bike and my phone just went flying out. And so I didn't have my phone and I was having so much anxiety about it. So I went later back to the highway and I didn't turn my bike off. I left it on. I left the battery on and I went for an hour looking for my phone and I found pieces of it, came back to my bike. My bike was dead. So now I'm up on the highway with no transportation and no phone.
Oh my God.
This is my nightmare. But yeah, I'm so addicted to my phone.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Here's the reality. I know we're all on our phones and you got the Instagrams and the TikToks and the podcasts and everything. And it's just like, we're constantly on that. But what it does, as much as you think it connects us, and I do it too. I'm not fucking preaching. Yep. It disconnects us. So,
for sure.
So you go out to dinner, you're still kind of like, I just want to say, oh yeah. It's like heroin, dude. It's fucking heroin. I wonder if people could just do it for a day. I mean, we were all doing it before 2000. When did cell phones come out? I don't even remember. Yeah. But everybody was,
when I first started wrestling, I didn't have a cell phone. I was still using pay phones.
And how was your life?
Yes.
How was your
using road atlases? No, it was good. I just, the phones, these cell phones are just, they're convenient. I am not guilty of I can sit through a dinner without looking at my phone. I love, if I'm going out to dinner with people, I want to sit and I want to talk with them and I want to eat and enjoy the evening. I stick my nose up at a table full of people on their phones. I also don't like my best friend, Jonathan. His kids will not put down they'll sit through every meal all day long on their phones, and it drives me insane. And he knows it drives me insane.
Why don't there's a rule that we do, with my friends. We when we're having breakfast or something, everybody puts their phone in the middle. And no one touches it. And the first one who grabs their phone pays for the whole fucking table.
I love that, man.
That's what you got to do.
What do you do if nobody grabs their phone? Just split it up 4 ways or whatever.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Hey, look, everybody, look at that, guys. We had a conversation. You didn't need your phone. And here's the thing. My grandma's like, you didn't hear your phone ring? I never, ever have my ringer on or my text. I look at my phone enough that if I look at it 20 minutes and I get a text, I'll respond. I don't need to hear it ringing and doing this shit constantly and dinging. My friend Joe, I love him. Ding, it's a notification from whatever. Like 8 million things. Every second it's dinging. I'm like, how the fuck are you doing anything with your life?
No, I don't get any of those either. No, my phone's always on silence. I don't get any social media notifications, none of that. But yeah, I am totally addicted to my phone. But I will sit it down and, at important times to sit and have a conversation with somebody.
So we have dinner, you won't use it.
No, I may check it if you got up to go to the bathroom, I'd look at my phone.
Or if I got really boring. If I was boring, you'd be like, Rosie.
You boring? That's not going to happen.
I don't know, man. Hey, dude.
You'd be on your phone constantly.
I know. I am too. Do you feel like your neck ever hurts from being on your phone?
Well, my neck hurts from wrestling.
You don't think it adds to it?
So my neck always hurts. Yeah.
Do you I was watching some highlights of your stuff, and when they announce your name, I don't think, in roles, I've seen you explode with a certain energy, like, as Drax and things like that. But when I watch you, when they announce Bautista, whatever, when you came out there, do you think that was the biggest high you've ever had? Is with that going in those arenas when they announce you? Was that the biggest high you ever had?
Absolutely. It's a drug, man. It's pure. That's when I used to come out and do my entrance, and I got this from Shane McMahon. You know who Shane McMahon is? He's the son of Vince. He's a wrestler as well. But he used to always say, man, coming out, it's like heroin. It's like shooting heroin. And I used to do that with my entrance.
Yeah.
That's where that came. But yeah, absolutely. It's the high of performing, and it's all that energy from the live audience and people screaming and cheering. It's pure adrenaline. Pure adrenaline.
I also was thinking, man, it was like, I don't know if it was in a dream or not. I don't know if I was dreaming about you. But have you ever, I'm sure it's happened, but you're in the ring with someone, right? And and by the way, I didn't know that you had the longest reign as world heavyweight champion for 282 days at WWE. Is that real? Is that true?
Yeah, with that particular title in that time, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's awesome, dude. That's totally awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I dropped it because I got injured really bad and I wasn't able to perform anymore. I had to get surgery on my arm, so I had to leave. I had to vacate the title for a while.
Talk about depression then, huh?
Yeah, it was. It's weird. It was depressing because I was under the same mindset. Every injury, I always, throughout my career, until maybe the last year of my career, I always thought I was one bad match away from being fired. I was always worried about my job, concerned about my job, which is why I was so driven. I worked so hard because this was like my last shot. This was my last chance at being a success at something. So making something out of my life. So I was always just fear of losing my job.
Do you think that's how it is with your acting career now? Do you feel that same way? You're so driven. You want to be so great. Is it maybe it's just part of you?
I think I think right now I'm obsessed with becoming a better actor. I'm obsessed with acting. And it's hard for me because I can't get better if I'm not working. I'm an on the job, learning actor. And if I'm not working, I'm not learning. And I'm so hungry to learn this craft of acting. I'm obsessed with it. And so it's more that, because it's never, for me, acting has never really been about being famous or a paycheck. It's really I've just been obsessed with becoming a better actor. It's still a struggle for me.
What's funny you say about fame, you said fame is overwhelming. Sometimes I just want to crawl under a rock and hide.
Yeah.
Do you really feel like that? Do you feel like even at premieres, do you feel, is it that you feel like you don't belong? Is it feel that, what is it?
Yeah, it's all of the above. I've always been really socially awkward. But it's, I don't know, man. It's a bit overwhelming for me, which is, to be honest with you, it's why I live here in Tampa. It's very removed from everything. It's removed from a spotlight of any kind. And I live such a normal life. But even here, I have, a pretty big property surrounded by a great big gate. Makes me even further removed. But, I like it. I like the solitude, which is why I was saying earlier, it feels like I've always been prepped for this. Like I was social distancing way before it was necessary.
Yeah, right. I was talking about that dream I had, or maybe it was a thought or whatever, but I was like, I wonder if you ever, maybe wrestlers in general, I know I kind of go all over the place, but that's how my mind works. But I was thinking, you accidentally hurt someone. It was actually an elbow. You didn't mean to get that high because you're going so fast and things happen that you're like, fuck, dude. I'm 300 pounds or whatever, or I don't know how big you are. But I hit him, and I'm like, during the match, you're thinking, oh, fuck, is he all right? That had to hurt? Oh, my God. Do you ever get down there and go, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm fucking sorry. You whisper in his ear, dude, my bad. Here, fucking hit me in the balls. Do something. What do you do, man? What do you do?
That's happened to me. I was pretty lucky that way. And I was also, it was almost a hindrance early on in my career because I was so afraid of hurting someone that I appeared to be non-aggressive, which in professional wrestling just doesn't help your career. You
right.
need to,
you cared too much.
But I did. I just didn't. I didn't want to hurt anybody. Because that's part of our job is we have to protect the people we're working with because they also need to make a living. They need to go out and perform. So it's really a fine line. But there were a couple of times where there was a guy named Randy Orton I wrestled once, and I hit him really hard, and he sold it, and I knew I hit him really hard, and I was trying to get close to him to apologize to him, so I kept punching him, and then I hit him hard again, and I'm like going, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And the more I'm trying to apologize, the harder I'm hitting him. And he finally just like smacks me and he goes, "Just get the fuck away from me."
Oh my God.
It was horrible. Then there was another guy. There's a guy named Ron Simmons who I thumbed in the eye once. And I thumbed him and I felt my thumb like go up in his eyelid. And I felt horrible. Not only did I feel horrible, but at the time I was a rookie and this guy was a former world champion. He had the respect of everybody. I was like, "Oh man, I'm getting fired. This guy's going to kill me." And so I go backstage and I start to apologize to him. I go, "Ron, man, I'm so sorry, man." And he goes, "For what?" I said, I thumbed you in the eye. And he goes, No, I just had some sweat in my eye. Like he just would not sell it.
Really?
He didn't want to make me feel bad. He just wouldn't. He just like, just one of those things. It just happens. He didn't want to make me feel bad about it, or self-conscious about it, or worry about it. Just let it go. So
what about you? What about you? Have you ever been hit and you're like, "Motherfucker"?
Yeah, there was a few times. There was a couple times. Yeah, I never really got pissed about it. Because usually it was just one of those things. It was either just, somebody was being real stiff. They work stiff. Every once in a while I'd tell them to lighten up. But I never minded being physical either. I was that guy. A guy named Triple H said to me early on in my career, he said, "We get paid a lot of money to beat the shit out of each other." And I always felt like that's a very fair statement.
Yeah, right.
So the crowd should get their money's worth. It's not, this is a theater of violence. That's the way I always looked at it. So I'd never mind. I'd rather it look too physical rather than looking too fake.
Yeah. So
I never really minded. But yeah, I've been punched pretty hard, been beat up pretty good, been cut, and I don't mind being beaten up. I just, when a guy injures you, that's something else because that's happened as well. But I also, and I don't want to, point fingers, but I've had guys put me in the hospital and had surgery at the fault of other people. And I never.
Did you ever say, "I'm never wrestling them again"?
I did. I wrestled them again. I worked with them again. I never took it personally. It was just something, you just come back and you move on. If the company's not going to fault them and not going to blame them, then I'm not going to do it either. Do you,
well, there's some guys you just like, it has to be, because I've acted with some guys. I've done stuff where you're like, I just fucking hate that guy. I just don't like that guy.
I've got a few
fucking dick. That guy's just a dick.
There's a lot of those guys, especially when you're working under, that type of environment where it's kind of a totem pole, environment. It's changed a lot, but when I was breaking in, it was very much a totem pole. It was a hierarchy, and you had to take crap from assholes. And some guys took advantage of it, and they were bullies because they could get away with it.
Did you ever get in a real altercation with another wrestler?
Yeah, I got in a fight with a guy named Booker T over something really. It was a personal issue. It was a personal issue, but the thing that really bothers me about that whole altercation is he started a fight with me when I was injured. And we got into it anyway. But I always thought it was really, really low of him to start a fight with me when he knew I was injured. Even if he was pissed at me or not. You don't fight a guy who's who's dealing with an injury.
Right. It's like almost like trying to pick a fight with a guy on the ice. When he's exhausted, he's about to get off the ice, and you just got on. You're like, "Let's go." And you're like, "Dude, I'm fucking exhausted. What are you fucking? I'm winded. I can't fucking fight." You know what I mean?
Right.
It's different though. It's also you're injured.
Being exhausted with not the full use of your limbs. It's like that.
Inside of You is brought to you by BetterHelp Online Counseling. If you're struggling with all the things, I do, many of you do, many of my guests suffer from, big guests that you think, how do they suffer? And they do. Anxiety, depression, LGBT issues, family conflicts, sleeping. Sleeping is a big problem for me now. Self-esteem, anything. Connect with your counselor in a safe and private online environment. Anything you share is, of course, confidential. BetterHelp is so easy. You just simply fill out a questionnaire to help assess your needs and get matched with a counselor within 24 hours. That's it. You could easily schedule secure video or phone sessions with your therapist, plus exchange unlimited messages. Sounds like me, for sure. If any reason you're unhappy with your counselor, you can request a new one at any time, no charge. Awesome. You can get professional help when you want, wherever you want. BetterHelp is a truly affordable option, and our listeners get 10% off your first month with the discount code INSIDE. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/inside. That's betterhelp.com/inside. BetterHelp.com/inside. Talk to a therapist online and get help. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Of all time? Well, when I was younger, it was a wrestler named Warlord. He was my favorite. I love this guy. And as I got older, like probably if I had to pick a guy right now who I thought was like probably the best ever, it would be Triple H. I think he's probably the best wrestler that's
You friends with him? You guys talk?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Would he be a good interview?
And he made my career. What's that?
Would Triple H be a good interview?
Be a great interview. Yeah, he's interesting as hell. He's obsessed with wrestling. I don't know, how interesting the interview would be outside of wrestling, because I don't know if I've ever really heard him talk about anything other than wrestling.
Right. That could be neat though.
He loves bodybuilding. I know that.
Dude, I don't know if I ever told you, but I used to love that guy. He wasn't a wrestler, but remember Brother Love?
Oh yeah.
He'd say,
yeah.
Dave Bautista, I love you. But that don't mean I like
He's still around.
you.
He's still around.
I have an autographed picture from him.
Yeah, Bruce Pritchard. I think he has a podcast as well.
Really? Brother Love?
Yeah.
Oh,
Brother
my
Love,
God. Yeah. I was thinking, I know why you work, because, by the way, you just watch certain roles and you just, like, when you say you work so hard, you see it. Like, the first thing I told James when I saw Guardians 2 was Bautista stole the show by a mile. I mean, everybody's great. Bautista, I couldn't take my eyes off him. He's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, he's so funny. I can't. I think I've told you that, but I was just like, you're so good. Your comedic timing and just the way it was done. I'm like, I don't know why you wouldn't work forever. I mean, you're just a likable, and you're great. Do you want to do, because you've been doing a lot of comedy. Been doing a lot of comedy. Do you want to get, like, I don't know I haven't seen the show C on Apple. I haven't seen that. Is that dark? It seems like it'd be dark.
Yeah, it's it's very post-apocalyptic. It's very much a character role for me. It's, what I really want to do is just, I like drama. Like, I like just regular.
That's what I was going to say. I want to see that. It's like almost like a character like Rooker did in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Something just like that. I know you could, because you could pull all that shit from the past out. You have that in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like those roles for me are hard to get a hold of, but I'm constantly searching for them. But yeah, I'm limited sometimes on it. Sometimes it's really hard to get people to look outside the box and see someone like myself in those roles. But yeah, I'm always in pursuit.
It's funny. Who in Hollywood would have thought Dave Bautista is going to be fucking comedically genius? Who's going to? Well, seriously, who's going to watch? Any agent or studio who watches Guardians goes, he's hilarious. This guy's got chops. So did you think when you're wrestling and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to try and transition into acting? And I remember we had those conversations and you were like, no, I shouldn't leave. Should I leave? You were crossed. You didn't know. They're like, if you do this, you're going to ruin your career. You're never going to be an actor and all this shit that we taught. You guys could listen to that in the first interview. But were you thinking, dude, someone's going to hire me in a blockbuster Marvel movie and I'm going to be comedically gifted? Could you ever, what I'm saying, my reasoning for that is because, so studios, it's going to happen. If they saw you, who would have imagined that? So why can't they imagine you as like the tough guy?
I never would have thought that in a million years. And it's weird. It's the role, the role in the first, the first one was, James Gunn rewrote it. And Drax was written very differently than the second one. The second one, I think James kind of tapped into my humor a little bit on the first one, and decided that he wanted to put more of that in the second one. But in the first film, like the comedic stuff was a challenge for me. Like I struggled with it, and some of that stuff they reshot, like the Nothing Goes Over My Head, because they really wanted to get a sense of Drax being such a literal character. But the stuff in the first film that I looked forward to was like the dramatic stuff, like Drax talking about like, you know, his family being, you know, murdered right in front of him, and like that stuff, like that scene, the really hard scene was cut out. It was cut out of the film because it was just kind of slow and dark, but that was kind of the stuff I was looking forward to.
It's funny that the comedy.
I never would have thought, man. I still don't. It's hard for me. I don't find myself funny, and it's so it's hard for me to, you know. But I would like to do. You know what I want to do is I want to do a rom-com. I think I've talked to you about this. I want to do a rom-com with Kristen Shaw more than anything in the world. Like, I'm dying to do this rom-com with. I will get this done. Like, well, somehow I will get this done.
I love it. Yeah. So if you're some wrestler, blah, 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 she falls in love. Right. You're not the kind of guy she would ever date. You have all these tats. What does that mean? You're like, oh, this one means mom, but this one means fuck mom. And they're like, wait, what? She's like, oh my God, I would never date this guy. And there's something charming and lovable about you. It's kind of like that Rocky relationship with Adrian, where he's like, you know, it's the only guy in the world that can get away with her at a zoo in the dead of winter. And he goes, what are you doing for the next 50 years of your life? And she goes, why? I don't know. I thought you wouldn't mind marrying me too much. You know what I mean? You could play that romantic, lovable. I mean, it's got to be something like that where you could just be that charming, comedically. But I could see that, dude. I could see that.
We tossed around a few ideas. One of them was along those lines of me being a pro wrestler, which I'm not at all opposed to. Whatever, you know, will be endearing and make people laugh. And but I think we would just make the most unlikely looking couple ever. And I love her, and I love working with her. She's actually, I think she's not giving nearly enough credit for how talented she is, man. She's amazing, and I love working with her. I love being on set with her. She's just so fun. So hopefully we can make that happen, because I really want to do that.
Well, dude, I hope that. I know it will happen. I don't hope it will happen. I know it will happen. I mean, the shit you've done already, where you've come from, it. Nothing's going to surprise me if you told me you're running for president tomorrow. Let's not get started.
At this point, I may.
I knew it. I knew it.
I may have a shot.
I would fucking rough you up, ruffle your feathers. All right, these are lastly. These are shit talking for my patrons. This is shit talking with Rosenbaum. This is just a couple questions. You don't have to get real deep, but you just they're going to ask you some questions, and you just Raj, do you have a favorite tattoo?
Yeah, I have like a portrait of my dogs on my thighs. That's probably my favorite.
All right, Jason L. Favorite wrestler to work with?
Again, it'll be Hunter. It'll be Triple H.
Triple H. Mark A. What was your honest reaction? I don't even know what this means. Bautista?
So we did this pay-per-view where I wore blue, and I never lived it down. Like, people were so focused that I wore blue for this pay-per-view. Like, my wrestling gear was blue. And I was offended. And the reason why I was offended is because it was a 6-man tag match, and we went out and killed ourselves. Like, we beat the hell out of each other. And we had a hell of a match. And we also, it was one of those things where it was 3 older guys who had been around for a while trying to really
step up.
Yeah, step up these kids, like just give them a rub and bring these kids even up. They were kind of already over, but just bring them to a different level, make them bigger stars. And what people took away from that match was that I was wearing blue. Like, that's all they focused on.
Well, that's what people do.
Amazing. And but they were just so, obsessed with it. They were so focused on me wearing blue that was the big deal. And they dubbed me Bautista, and I thought it was just so stupid.
Yeah, way to go, Mark A. Way to go. Way to ask me that. I should have done research on it. I was like, I'm sure it has something to do with Drax or something. I don't know. Little Lisa, if you could turn back the time and talk to your younger self, what would you tell him?
Oh, man, I would just, it's weird because somebody asked me that before, and my always fear is, like, if I could go back and tell my younger self, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, then would I have stopped working as hard? Would I have looked at life differently? And I would never have I don't want to change things like that in my life. I'm, proud of the way I grew up. I'm proud that I've accomplished what I have, you know, coming from nothing. So I think what I would have just said is that you're going to be okay, dude. You're not going to die. Because there were days like that. And even when I was bouncing, there was nights when I thought I was going to walk out the door at the end of the night and get shot. Like, I didn't think I was making it home. Like, guys in the 90s in DC, people were getting murdered hourly. It was crazy. Like, it was crazy how many people.
And you were scared? You were scared?
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, I was worried. I mean, I was literally, like, we were all worried. We were getting threatened nightly. And it was such a violent place at the time. It was like a war zone. This crack wars. You know, I always use that term and people, you know, it sounds ridiculous, crack wars, but it was the side of the crack wars, man, where people were getting killed for their damn tennis shoes. And so that's what it was like. It was like walking out, because I wasn't armed. I'm not walking out. I can't defend myself, but there's people out here with like guns that are shooting you for stupid shit. And I was on, you know, on a nightly basis when I was bouncing, getting threatened.
And getting paid what to do that, right?
I was doing okay. You know, when I first started bouncing, I wasn't making much at all. But towards the end of my bounce career, I was doing okay. I was walking home with cash in my pocket every night, you know, because you're working with, you know, in bigger places with, you know, good clientele, and you're getting tipped out. So it was okay. I don't have that kind of complaint. There was just times when I was just, you know, I blew through my money. I didn't know how to spend it, didn't know what to do with it. So on good weeks, I, you know, come home with a pocket full of money. Bad weeks, it was gone. I was broke by the end of the week. You know,
Jesus.
But that's it. I just like to, you know, tell my younger self that you're gonna make it out of this, dude. You're gonna make it off this block.
Actually, that'd be pretty reassuring back then. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I think everybody wishes. Like, I wish somebody would have told me in high school, just, dude, you're gonna get hair on your balls. Don't worry. One day there'll be a hair on your balls. Your girls will start to like you. You're gonna grow. You're gonna do all these things, but just, you know, maybe don't let this one go. And maybe not worry so much about that stuff. And maybe deal with all your dysfunction now. Or, you know, something like that. All right, Lisa. Lisa's really quick. What industry is more cutthroat, professional wrestling or Hollywood?
Oh, professional wrestling by far. Yeah,
wow.
By far. Because it's so contained. It's so right there in front of your face. And there's so much, you know, Hollywood is, you know, it's weird. It's a political business. It's a political environment. It's a relationship business. But there's so many more avenues. But with wrestling, there's one avenue, you know, up until recently, you know, and now there's another company that seems to be, a lot of guys seem to be gravitating towards. But at that time when I was there was only one place to be, or you weren't making a living. And it was just like it was 100 guys right there in the locker room with you, ready to cut your throat to put that belt around their waist. And that's how it was. It was just so right there in front of your face.
Jennifer N., what was your favorite scene to play in on Avengers Endgame?
Oh, Endgame. No, I was hardly in Endgame. I was in it I was very briefly, and I was only a couple scenes. It was like an action scene, and I think it's a scene with Thor. So it was probably the scene with Thor. I'm not really an action guy. I don't really enjoy doing action, but
such a pain in the ass.
Endgame would be Thor, and Infinity War. It was the invisibility thing. It was just so ridiculous.
Emily asks, have you ever gotten excited to meet another actor? If yes, who?
Oh God, man,
Kurt Russell.
I did. I was excited to meet Kurt, but I was like, oh man, that's a big question, because there's been quite a few. I mean, there's even, you know, people that I worked with that I was excited to meet. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I wish I had a name right. Even directors, man. That's such a big question.
You didn't work with Stallone.
Oh man, it's like, again, man. Like, Stallone was. I took a job. I took this job. I wasn't crazy about the job, but I took it because I wanted to work with Stallone.
What was that?
I sat in our first scene together. I got in and sat with Stallone. I said, look, man, I'm not going to be a fanboy today. I said, but, you know, tomorrow I'm probably going to ask you 100 questions. And before we finished that scene, I had already contradicted myself, and I just went to town, like, question after question.
Like, who is this guy you put me with? I did that with Stallone on the last day I waited. We had a good time. We had a good rapport. We laughed together. He knew my name. Right. you know, called me, hey, dot face, because I had these CGI dots in my face on Guardians 2. And the last day I brought my Rambo lunchbox, and I go, hey, would you sign this? He goes, wait a minute, how old are you? I'm like, what? He goes, how old are you? I'm like, I don't know, I'm 46. He's like, you got a lunchbox? You want me to sign a Rambo lunchbox? I'm like, yeah, you could sign to my name. I don't want to sell it or anything. He's like,
I do.
Yeah,
I've got one. I'm bringing it with me next time. Get him to sign it.
Dude, it's awesome. I love it. Benjamin H., you're clearly a very disciplined guy to work with. Food, exercise. What are some of the things you do to stay disciplined? You don't have to go on, but just what's the big thing?
Well, I follow certain rules with my diet. I'm gluten-free. I don't eat red meat or pork. And so there's some of the rules of my diet, which actually helps a lot as far as maintaining like my weight. Because I can put on weight really easy. Like I can be muscle bound real easy. Other than that, I just I work out because I have issues. So I work out so much to keep myself sane. This is all like a side effect of my mental issues. I look this way for a reason. And I work out because if I don't work out, I'm not in a good mood. I'm stressed, possibly violent. I'm not the same, centered person.
Right.
So I need to. It's therapy for me. Like working out is therapeutic for me. So I do those things. I work out no matter what it is. Just something.
And how long a day? How long every day?
It depends. It depends
hour,
on what
2 hours sometimes.
If I'm working out like with weights, it could be 30 minutes to an hour. If I'm working out, I've been doing a lot more jujitsu lately because I'm home. I could be in there 2-3 hours. I love it, man. We get just get in there, and jujitsu is human chess, and learning human chess is to me like I can't get enough of it. Like I just constantly want.
It's good for the brain too.
What's that?
Good for the mind.
Oh, incredible! It's incredible for the mind. It really is. I was talking to the buddy I train with. His name's Josh Rafferty, and he's a Gracie black belt. We were talking about the other day, and it's like when you're doing jujitsu, all you think about is jujitsu. You just lose sight of everything else. You're just so focused, so dialed in. So it just really, it's so therapeutic for me and exhausting as well.
Last two, Jeremy, and what things did you set as goals growing up, and how many stood the test of time?
I didn't have any goals growing up, and I know this sounds stupid, but like when I was growing up, I wanted to be not dead and not in jail. Like those were my goals.
Wow. Talk about grateful. Goes back to that being grateful, right?
Yeah. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but those were my goals. I just didn't want to be in jail. I didn't want to be dead.
Pat E., out of everything you look at your career, your life, what would you like to be what would you like remembered about you?
I hope that what I would really like to do, and I don't know if I've done it yet, but it's always my goal to like inspire people, especially like poor kids. And that's hopefully I'll get that project one day that will just inspire like people. Like that's what I want to do, and I use that word a lot because I like to be inspired. This is why I love stories. I love films. I love television because I love inspiring stories. So hopefully, I can, achieve that goal of just inspiring people.
Well, you know what?
Nothing else.
I'm going to tell you something.
Maybe it's through my story of just coming from nothing and making a conscious effort to just not waste my life. Maybe that'll inspire people.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say you are. Just by you telling these stories, by telling where you come from, that inspires people. And people look like, this is a guy who could die any night. This is a guy who saw so much violence. He wasn't going to amount to anything. What is he going to do with his life? And to be a movie star. And I look at you, and it's somebody who inspires me. And it's just nice. It's fun to be around you. I mean, you're one of those guys that remember you're like, hey, come to Disneyland. You're like a kid like me. I think we're both like that. We just want to have fun. We're on a set.
Yeah.
And you get around people who just take things so seriously. And I like to be around people that don't take things so seriously.
Right.
Not that you don't, but sometimes you don't.
No, but I agree. I mean, there's one thing, there's taking yourself seriously and taking yourself way too seriously.
Yeah.
And some things should be like, filmmaking is fun to me. Like I love being there. I love doing it. I love being a part of the process. And to see people you know, get so demanding and so irritable and so moody and so bitchy about like, what, man, this is fun.
Yeah.
Like, it should be fun. And when I start to perform, I take myself seriously, and I'm my own worst critic. So I'm beating myself up more than anybody. But at the same time, I'm enjoying the hell out of being there. Like, I'm grateful as hell for being there, and I'm not going to bitch at people for stupid shit, you know?
Yeah. Do you,
go
ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I don't do this as much, but are you this hard on yourself when you look in the mirror in the morning? Do you look at yourself and go, all right, you look good? Or are you always like, fucking ugly, fucking this, fucking that, fucking this, you got to work on this, your traps look like shit?
You know, it's funny, man. I had this conversation with myself recently. And because, no, I never wake up, but I also accept my faults, and it is kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
But I recently, because I've been working out so much, and I did post a picture of myself last week because I felt like I felt like pretty good about myself. But there's been a couple times recently where I felt like, yeah, man, I'm getting in good shape. I'm going to take a picture right now and post it because I feel good about myself. And then I'll take a picture and I'll be like, man, that doesn't look good. Man, that's not good. And then I'll just abandon the whole idea. I was like, oh, man,
fuck this. I got to work out harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, this has been a treat, man. I love you taking the time. You're just a genuine guy I love talking to. And when this is all over, you're definitely getting hugged. And I'm going to take you up on your offer to come to Tampa.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you do. You're always welcome here, man.
Dude, you're awesome. One of my favorite people in the world. And also, I'm going to text you. You know, I always have neck issues, and you're probably the guy to talk to. I've had a couple of neck surgeries. I know you've had a lot of shit. I want to talk to you about just exercises I could do just to take the tightness and the traps and all that stuff. Because I'm just always tight, always. And I know you have some answers.
Yeah, I do. And like, I don't know the origins of your issues, but we'll talk about it. And I have a machine that I travel with because of my neck, and I swear by it.
Is it the thing where you lie down, you pump it up?
No, that's a God. What is that called? That's a traction machine.
Right.
This is actually something that's preventative maintenance. It's like an exercise machine. It's called ProNeck, and what it does is just helps you exercise your neck.
Please send me a link. I'll buy it today.
It will, and it's just it's as much resistance as you want. The resistance is through a bungee cord. So it's like a nice light resistance, or you can make it tougher if you want, but it really is to just really exercise those muscles in your neck.
I love it. I love you, and this has been awesome. I can't. What's next when this is all over? I mean, I know you did an episode of. I haven't seen it. When could I see What We Do in the Shadows? It was a great movie, and and I want to see. So you appeared on that show.
Yeah, I did. So last year, I'm sorry, their first season, I was did a guest spot. And they wanted me to come back and do a reoccurring role, but I just wasn't available, which killed me because for one, I love the show. I'm a huge fan of the show, but I also love Taika. He's such
genius.
A good dude. He's such an interesting guy. But I wanted to work with him again. But yeah, it's out there. I also did a really cool episode of a show called Room 104 that eventually will come out. I'm really excited about it because it's a different type of role for me. And then I got I'm still on C. So I'll go back and finish that. We're right into like episode 2 or 3.
Right. See on Apple. And then you got Guardians of the Galaxy in pre-production. So that's going to happen eventually. Army of the Dead, dude. What's that about? Is that zombie shit?
Great. It's great zombie
shit.
Dude. I've seen a little bit of it.
Have you watched The Kingdom on freaking Netflix? It's a South Korean zombie fucking show. Bautista, watch it. You'll go, okay, Rosie, what the hell? 2 episodes. Episode 3 and on, you're going to shit your pants.
I will. I'll watch it. I'm really bad about it. Like, I've been so disconnected the last few years. I think it's just because I've been so focused on work. And also, I have to say that I'm really enjoying the fuck out of working with Jason Momoa.
What a guy. What a nice guy.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun.
He's just like a big kid, man. I really love that guy. Every time I see him at a convention or something.
He totally is. So we have that in common, and the whole motorcycle thing.
Yeah.
I think we're cut from the same cloth.
Well, I love it, dude. I won't keep you any longer. This has been fantastic, and I love you. And I'm going to text you later, man. Thank you for doing. Thank you for allowing me to be inside of you, my friend. Again.
Yeah, you're always welcome to get all up inside of me, man.
I love it. All right, take care of yourself, man.
Later, bro.
I love that man. I love Dave Bautista. I don't know, when you listen to him, how could you not love this guy? Great interview. Just so open, and we need that. A good friend of mine. He's become a good friend of mine, and you know how we met, which we talk about, I think, in the first time he came in. But you know, he was on Smallville, but I didn't get to work with him years ago. And then I was at a convention signing autographs, and somebody said, "Hey, Michael, Dave Bautista would like to say goodbye to you before you leave because he heard that on the announcement that you're leaving. Michael Rosenbaum is leaving." I go, I think maybe he means like Michael Rooker because they worked. Dave Bautista wants to talk to me, so I went up to his table. He's like, "Hey man, I just wanted to say hello. I heard your name, and I just want to say hi." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, who does that? Nobody does that. Dave Bautista does." And from there, and of course, I'm like, we should talk or something. Get you on my podcast. And he did it. And he's, so enough about him. He's a gem. Let's do we're going to read some fan mail, some really cool letters that came in. First, why don't I, and I'm going to announce the patrons, but I want to read this. This is this really cool thing. This expressive art therapist, Comer, she found this, and I remember she read it to me. And last year when I went to that place to kind of get my shit together. But I just thought it was beautiful, and it kind of just made me think about now, and I don't know, I'm just going to share it with you. You could fast forward, but I think it's really great. The title is Trusting. If you read the front page story of the San Francisco Chronicle on Thursday, December 14th, 2005, you would have read about a female humpback whale who had become entangled in a spider web of crab traps and lines. She was weighed down by hundreds of pounds of traps that caused her to struggle to stay afloat. She also had hundreds of yards of line rope wrapped around her body, her tail, her torso, a line tugging in her mouth. A fisherman spotted her just east of the Farallone Islands, outside of the Golden Gate, radioed an environmental group for help, and within a few hours, the rescue team arrived and determined that she was so bad off, the only way to save her was to dive in and untangle her, which was a very dangerous proposition. One slap of the tail would kill a rescuer. They worked for hours with curved knives, and eventually, they freed her. When she was free, the divers say she swam in what seemed like joyous circles. She then came back to each and every diver one at a time and nudged them, pushed them gently around. She thanked them. Some said it was the most incredibly beautiful experience of their lives. The guy who cut the rope out of her mouth says her eye was following him the whole time, and he will never be the same. May you and all those you love be so blessed and fortunate to be surrounded by people who will help you get untangled from the things that are binding you. Is it just me, or is that just freaking beautiful? I don't know what to tell you. Let's get into the patrons. I want to thank all my patrons. It's Patreon, but I always say that. Wow. Again, incredible. I'm doing these fun things now, too. If you're not a patron, we have a thing called Inside of Me. Pretty much, I answer their questions, so they get to ask me questions, and I answer them. Obviously, I film them. But I filmed myself playing a character, and that was fun. So we do a back and forth thing, and it was just, I had a really good time. Maybe because I'm quarantined, but it's funny, I think. And thank you again, the top tiers, all the tiers. I just sent the merch boxes for the top tiers, and we did a bonus app. We did a live YouTube. I've done 2 of them now, where all the patrons, every one of them get on there, and I play songs and stuff. It's like an Instagram live, but private for just my patrons. So thank you. Thank you for sticking around. It means so much to me, and it surprises me every day. I look at all these people, and it's a community and a family, and I love them. Nancy D, Mary B, Leah S, Trisha F, Sarah V, Yukiko. I yelled that one, Yukiko. Jill E, Brian H, Lauren G, Nico P, Nico, Barry L. Barry, I love that you're still around. Angelina G, Jerry W, Kevin R, Emily K, B, Robert B, Vortex. I love you, Vortex. Jason W, Tiana, Andrew C, Allison L, Mark A, Jason D, Chris, Raj C, Sean W, Joshua D, Emily S, CJP, Rocks Raccoon, Samantha M, Hamza B, Hamza, Jennifer N, Stacy B, Stacy's mom has got it going on. Sorry. Carly T, Vanessa in the Sky, Reem, Jennifer S, Janelle B, Neil W, Tabitha 272, Kimberly E, Melissa C, Mike E, Jake M, Catherine M, Jack S, Carly S, Judith D, Carly S, Ramira, Chris F, and Chad W. Top tier patrons, holy crap, keeping me afloat. I love you guys. Here's a fan letter for you that was really special. So I thought I'd share it with you. I don't know why I'm yelling again. Hi, Michael. This is from Leanne. Just want to shoot you a quick email and let you know how profoundly the podcast has affected my life. I'm a special education teacher. I work with blind and visually impaired children. With the shelter in place, life has been really crazy, and I've been having anxiety attacks. Listening to the podcast has really helped me relate to other human beings who are going through the same stuff that I am. My sister's a nurse, and she also experiences anxiety along with depression. She's not been able to work for the past 2 years due to this. I turned her onto the podcast, and she told me today that it has been a huge help to her as well. Thank you for your kindness and using the medium to reach out to people. You'll never know how much you truly help us all. I'm attaching a picture at the bottom so you can put a face to the name. I'm the blonde on the left. Mom is in the middle. My sister's on the right. Thank you, and thank you, Michael Rosenbaum. You are forever appreciated and loved. Leanne Pritchett. And she has a little quote from John Fitzgerald Kennedy. One person can make a difference, and I sound like Forrest Gump. I'm not going to even try it. Ask not what your country can do. No. One person can make a difference, and everyone should try. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Another great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. Remember, Mental Health Week is coming. I think it's just really important, and these women, these amazing women, therapists of mine, and now friends, have said yes to coming on here and helping all of you, all of us. So again, please subscribe, share the podcast, get people to listen to it. It's up to you. I love you all, and thank you for allowing me to be in all. Thank you for allowing me to be inside all of you. All right.